Hi, everyone, and welcome to this week's Crush It in Sales podcast. I am so grateful you are joining me. My name is Melinda Van Fleet, and I'm a sales, strategy, and success coach. Let's dive in. I would bet to say that the majority of people out there have taken a personality assessment or used a personality tool somewhere in their life or career. There's a lot of them. If you follow me, you know I was in the corporate world for 16 years and we did everything. Every company did something at least once a year, often having a trainer in, and they would give you a report and then walk away. There was never any further training or further help, let's say, on how to embody that training into your life and your business so you can transform and make a difference. Make a difference in yourself, in your well-being. It could even be your mental health or your team, the people around you, your family, your friends, your relationships. And it always amazed me. I always thought to myself, gosh, there's so much here and there's often so much content. And how are we really utilizing it? We just paid this trainer to come in and teach us about something and they walked away. One of the really great tools that I've talked about before in Confidence Mastery for Couples, my book that came out last year, was HBDI. That's a really great tool. And we had a training. This was when I worked for Victoria's Secret. And we had a training. We took the assessment and then the trainer walked away. That was it. But that was the beginning for me where I started really realizing that we are all different. And I started really understanding the difference between the platinum rule, which is treating others as they wish to be treated, versus the golden rule, which is treating others as you wish to be treated. And believe it or not, there's still a lot out there that only talks about the golden rule. Another thing I want to mention, because it's just such a life-changing phrase that I heard a long time ago, and I originally heard it from Gabby Bernstein, and I've mentioned this before as well, is see yourself as others. See yourself as others is a powerful, powerful saying that's easy to remember. And when you start to embody these things, these sayings, these tools, these assessments, you will start to feel some transformation. So when I started with Southwestern Coaching and Consulting, they have an assessment. And it's a really, really amazing assessment that they developed. And so I have been reading about it and studying and trying to embody the pieces that are, let's say, the things I have to work on, right? You could say weaknesses, let's say, but the things that I need to do a better job with. And I've spent the last few days reading a book and reading my report. So within the assessment, when I first got my results back, nothing was a surprise. Nothing was a surprise. And that's what happens to a lot of people is they, get these assessments. You can take a lot of these different assessments free online. You could do the Enneagram, I believe Briggs. I used to promote Bank. Bank used to be on my website on the homepage. I no longer subscribe to Bank, but that's another really good tool if you're looking for something. Let's see what else. I mentioned HBDI, which is very similar to Bank with the colors. And I'm sure there's many, many other ones. And when I got my assessment, I laughed. I was like, oh my gosh, this is me. This is definitely my natural self. And my natural self, I'll say this, is fighter. So the challenge, as I just mentioned, is to embody and transform with understanding the other types and how I can, let's say, quote unquote, just do a better job, right? Let's just make it as simple as that. I can do a better job. So this has definitely been something that, pops up from time to time, and often more times than not. Let's put it like that. I'm 51. Many of you know that if you've been following me. So when you get to be a certain age, retraining some of these things can become a little more challenging. So when you go to work on these things, it's really important to understand where you're in energetic alignment, which is what I want to talk about in this podcast. Because you can easily come from a mindset that, now I have to slow down and explain things more to this person. And then that's not good energy. You really want to make sure that when you're encompassing these tools, embodying these tools, it's coming from a place of really good energy and alignment, because you want to be your best self and you want to serve others as best as you can. And unfortunately, that's what happens out there, is sometimes people, their first step when they go down this road in this process in evolution is that it's not coming from a good place. Inside their brain, they have mind loops and triggers going on. So they have to take a step back and think to themselves like, okay, I really want to serve at the highest level. So how can I embody this information? And I remember this from being a leader. So this morning on my walk, that's what I started thinking about. I'm like, I remember that a lot of people were actually challenged with this information from that level, from that standpoint, that they didn't have the highest good and the most amount of service as their forefront, right? It might be more about making money, or, I have to do this because someone said I have to do this, right? Instead of being from the highest good and the most amount of service, which then puts you into energetic alignment. So I've mentioned a lot so far on this podcast, and I really want you to be with me here. So my first thing that I want you to think about, and that's my takeaways from this podcast from today, is these are things for you to think about. Is number one, have you taken any assessments before? And if you have, I challenge you to pull out that printout that you probably did, and you probably put it in a folder somewhere, or maybe you just saved it on your computer. And if you didn't and you liked the assessment, go back and take it again. Go back and take it again and review it. And review it from a frame of mind of, yes, you might say to yourself, yep, I know these things about myself, right? But then do the next level, the next step, and think about the things that you should work on a little bit. And start to think about that. Maybe take some notes. Put some stickies around your computer. You know, one thing that I see a lot, and to me this goes back to human design, which is another assessment, is people that don't listen. People that talk and talk and talk and they don't listen. So if you're one of those people, this is just an easy thing. You know, put a sticky on your computer that says listen or silent, which is the same letters, believe it or not. And put that on your computer. You know, set yourself up with some little reminders. For me, it's slowing down. I have to slow down. I go too fast. My fighter is fast. So I have to slow down. I have to slow down so more people can, hear what I'm trying to say, and I can listen better too, right? So I'm not necessarily an over talker, but because I go so fast, I might be missing things in the listening department. So that's my thing that I have to work on. So I'm going to create some stickies today that give me a little more reminders during the day of what I can work on to encompass the things that I need to work on. Because we all need to work on things. None of us are perfect. I'm certainly not perfect. So that's number 2. And then number 3 is think to yourself, am I doing these things from a positive place, from positive and pure energy alignment? Or am I doing them because someone told me I have to, because my boss told me I have to, or my husband and I aren't getting along, so I have to, right? Where is it coming from? What is your why? Why are you wanting to do these things, to get better, to evolve, to transform? And think about that too. So there's 3 things. Pull out the assessment. See what you need to improve on, how you can start to encompass that. Write yourself some reminders. And then number 3, do an energy check and see how you feel about those things. And then you might need to do some inner work there to make sure it's from the highest and purest place. There's a lot packed into this, and it takes time. It takes time to work on these things. So I just want people to know that too. Like, give yourself some grace. That's the other thing as a fighter is I tend to think that I can accomplish everything like right away. Yeah, no, I have to remind myself that this is a process, and it's okay as long as I'm working on it every day. So remind yourself of that too. And these are things that you may think to yourself, gosh, I need help in this area. One-on-one coaching would be phenomenal for me. And if that's you, definitely reach out to me so we can have a conversation. Before I go, I want to share this story that happened yesterday. So all this is kind of coming together as my content normally does. Like I have like a little breadcrumb here, a little nugget here, something happened here, someone said this. And then I'm like, okay, I need to record a podcast. So what happened to me yesterday was I had made it a goal this year to pitch to more publications. If you know me, you likely know that I'm a paid writer for the Keys Weekly for the past 2 years. It was 2 years in February. And you can go on my website under media and see all the articles that I've written for the past 2 years. And I really, really enjoy doing that. I really enjoy meeting other people, listening to their story, sharing their story. I love promoting it online. I truly, truly love doing this. It's just such a fun experience for me. And it's also helped with money mindset around earning money from being a coach and a writer, because honestly, that's something a lot of people struggle with. They don't think that they should earn money for something that's a gift. And that's been really good. And number 2, well, that's number 2. And number 3, another reason why I like writing for the paper is that I love the magic that happens when the story comes together. So if you were to hear the interviews, you'd be like, how does she then put that like together into that 800-word article? And just magically comes together. It's just fun. It's like a puzzle. And I really enjoy the process of like taking someone's words, someone's stories, someone's quotes, and like putting it together. It's just really, really fun for me. So one of my goals again this year was to pitch to more publications. So I made a list at the beginning of the year of the different publications that I wanted to pitch to, and one of them was the Miami Herald. So if you are someone that pitches, whether it's to podcasts or to publications, you know, or you should be doing this, you need to be consuming the content. You need to be reading the publication and connecting with other writers, and that takes time. It does. It takes time. So I subscribed to the Miami Herald because I'm like, why not? It's pretty much in my backyard. And I started reading the Miami Herald, and quite frankly, I was always like having some negative energy from the Miami Herald because it's honestly extremely slanted. As we know, the media is, for the most part, the Miami Herald is extremely slanted. And it doesn't matter to me if you're a Democrat or Republican, that's not my point. It is just so slanted, and very slanted against our governor, who has kept our state open so we can earn a living. So whether or not you agree with everything that everyone does, that's not my point. My point is I'm extremely appreciative that our state was kept open so we can continue to earn a living, because we did not get any funding from anything else, which we tried and we did not get. So we were very grateful we could continue to work. And in that, I also just don't have time to be reading the Miami Herald. There's a lot of time. So I needed to cancel the paper. So I went about the process with trying to cancel the paper through their website, which is a rabbit hole and is pretty much not able to be done. I'm sure that's intentional. Let's be real. So then I send an email to customer service, and again, a long email back, look at this link. Again, I already looked at the link. I'm not able to cancel the paper. So then you have to call the number. Again, I'm sure that's intentional. So I call the number. A very nice woman who is likely, sounds like she's at a call center, likely in the Philippines, something like that. I told her I need to cancel the paper. And I'm using my tools from my toolbox on speaking slowly, being really nice, not having my fighter come out. So I'm trying to be super nice and cancel this paper. And I requested a couple times, and she's going on her script and trying to keep me with the paper. And then by the third time, she's like, well, why do you want to cancel? And I said, well, honestly, I just don't have time to read the paper every day. And it's really slanted, especially against our governor. She's like, oh, I understand. And she's being very nice. I know she's just doing her job, so it's not her fault. And she goes on again, trying to keep me with the paper. And so what ended up happening after the fifth time is my fighter came out. And I was like, no, I want to cancel the paper. And my husband, like, his head spun around and he's like, what is going on? And I'm like, oh. So once my fighter came out, guess what? She's like, okay, no problem. Cancel. So I was so grateful that my inner self is the fighter. And I was like, yes, I canceled the paper finally. But I tried really hard to use the tools and be really calm and more of probably the counselor type. That's a type, and use that personality. But no, at the end of the day, my true fighter had to come out so I could cancel the paper and move on with my day because she was taking way too much time. So it's kind of funny. So it's good when you do these assessments to be proud and be grateful for what you have been given as a gift, but then also know that you might have some work to do in some other areas so you can build relationships, build your business, have a more successful life or career, whatever your desire, because we are all one at the end of the day. And it's really important to use the platinum rule, see yourself as others, and, just do the best that you can with what we've been given out there. And these tools and assessments are really great to have and to use. So again, if you are interested in private one-on-one coaching, please reach out to me. If you wish to have a conversation in general, I appreciate that. And also, too, as I've mentioned in the last two podcasts, if you are looking for success-driven workshop for your sales team of 3 or more, please reach out to me to schedule and have a conversation. I would love to work with you. And yeah, that's it. So I'm sure this podcast might be a little longer than my usual. So I'm going to end it now. Until next week, I hope you crush it in sales. Thank you for listening and thank you for sharing. Bye.